What's up, people? It's Cowboy coming at you. I got something to say. Are y'all listening to me? Yo, yo, yo. YouTube. How y'all doing? What's up with my cigar smoking family? It's Cowboy coming at you. As you guys can see, man, I'm relaxing down in the lab, man. Just gonna go outside and smoke one tonight, but it's a little steamy out there, so I figured I'd come on in the cool air. Blow me one real quick. Watch a little NBA, share it with y'all. So what we doing today, Cowboy? Ain't gonna mess around, man. What I decided to pull out was something from one of my Privada cigar packs. And this is from the month of May of this year. And that would be the Rojas. And they call it the Rojas Peruvian Gold. And this thing looks to be a 6x46, or I'm gonna say 48. Good looking cigar, man. Nice looking paper bag brown wrapper there. I'm really digging the way that band's popping off of that color wrapper. That's a good combination there, man. Good looking stick. I'm gonna say we got a triple cap on that thing. Nice feel to the hand. Great smell to the cigar. This thing's supposed to be aged like 11 months to a year. Barnyard, must. Definitely some grassy hay there. Deep cedar wood. Coffee and cocoa. Maybe some dry fruitiness there on the foot. Good looking stick. If you can look at that, it's somewhat of a closed foot there, with a little space there. But great looking cigar, man. By Noel Rojas, made for, I'm not sure if this one was actually made just for Privada, but I do know that this came in our May Privada pack. And you guys should be able to go over to PrivadaCigar.com and check those out. Look for that Rojas Peruvian Gold. So we ain't gonna mess around, man. Cowboy gonna get his thing a straight cut. Cut him up. Light him up, smoke him up, as I say. Medium cold draw there. Cocoa, chocolate, dry fruit. That's what I'm getting on the cold draw. Really nice. Nice shine to that wrapper as well. Got a little bit of toothiness to it. Minimal veins. But we're hoping it's going to be a good smoke. And before I light this thing up, man, I want to send a special shout out to Brian over at Privada, man. As most of you guys may know if you follow me, Cowboy was on vacation last week in Florida, down in Orlando, man, and got in touch with Brian, and Brian got back in touch with me, and we met up. The man invited me to his home. He didn't meet me at a shop or meet me out in the street at a club or anywhere. He invited me to his home, man. He felt comfortable enough to let Cowboy come to his residence, man, and hang out with him and Clark and my man Johnny Taquitos outside in the playhouse, man. And I sat out there with those guys, man. I had a wonderful time, man, sitting up, chopping it up, smoking cigars with those guys, man. I could have sat there for hours, days, talking to those guys, man. Come to find out, I have a lot more in common with the way Brian thinks than I thought. So for all you Privada members, and for those of you guys that may not be a member of Privada that would like to go and join, I think the club is closed, but you can get in on the forum roll. I just want to let you know, from me to you, and Cowboy's a long way from being a fake individual. Brian ain't just a dude on the other side of the computer, man, where we're just ordering cigars from online. He's a real person, very down-to-earth individual, one of the coolest fucking people that I've met in the game, and I appreciate him. I appreciate you for inviting me over, Brian. I really enjoyed myself, and it makes me feel even prouder to be a member of Privada, knowing that the man that started this, I was able to sit down with him at his home, smoke a cigar, talk a little bit, laugh a little bit, had a really, really good time. Very down-to-earth individual. So with that said, Cowboys gonna get this thing lit, man, and see what we got with the provider stick. In the meantime, man, I hope everybody else is having a pretty good day, man. Summertime is here, man. Starting to get warm around here in the loop. But we knew it was coming, right? All right. Let's see where we at. I did fail to mention that this particular cigar here, the Rojas that came in that packet, I'm going to have to go up and get the information so that I can compare my notes to what Brian says is inside of this cigar. But this thing was dressed in a Nicaraguan Habano wrapper, undisclosed, or there was no information on the binder, but it's got the Nicaraguan and Peruvian fillers. So with the Peruvian fillers in there, when I think Peruvian, for me, it seems as though when I smoke Peruvian tobacco, I get a little bit of tardiness or a little fruitiness there, like lemon or orange peel or lime, something of that nature from Peruvian tobacco. Let's see if I pick any of that up in this one. But on first light there, we got a nice blast of pepper there on the retro, tad bit of floral, some deep woodiness. I've got a sweetness there on the tongue as well, and I'm gonna say that that's probably that dried fruit sweetness that I was picking up on the smell. Pretty strong cigar out the gate so far. The draw is decent. A deep chocolate note there. Tad bit of coffee. Dark wood. So that's where we at so far on that, man. So we took a pretty good light. So Cowboy's gonna tend to smoke this thing down. I'm gonna figure out what I might want to drink with it, but I'm gonna go up in the meantime and see if I can find the notes. And see if I can pick up what Brian's putting down. As you can see, this cigar's got a really nice heavy smoke profile to it. It's holding a very nice ash, very nice burn line so far. One of the things Brian and I talked about when I sat down with him at his home, we started talking about the ash on cigars. And there's definitely a difference in the ash on a lot of cigars, and to be able to talk to him about that while he's trying to get an understanding on the ash, which is something that I've studied a while back. It's good to know the ins and outs of the cigars and talking about the chlorophyll and the tobaccos so that you can understand the difference in the color of your ashes. But that's holding a pretty good ash there for me. Good smoking cigar. What I decided to get to drink though, Cowboy's just gonna drink some ginger ale with this one tonight, man. I ain't gonna play around. This thing is pretty close to full on me in the strength. And I'm gonna say medium plus strength, medium plus on the body, on the mouthfeel, and medium on the flavor. But the cigar's smoking well so far. Got a really pronounced pepper spice on the back of the throat. A heavy dark smoke profile, like I said. On that retro, I'm getting a floral, a black pepper, and a deep woody note there on the retro. The flavors that I'm getting right now, a dry fruit. I'm not quite sure what dry fruit that is. Semi-sweet tobacco core, cocoa, a great bit of creaminess there on the mouthfeel. And I'm gonna say as well, black tea leaves. But very, very coated on the palate. So I ran up to get these notes from Brian. So just based on what I could get here on the first third, let's see what Brian says. In his tasting notes, he says the body has a fresh cut oak. That cut oak, I guess that's the woodiness that I'm referring to. And couldn't really pick up on the smell. It's more of a cedar, but on the taste, yeah, maybe it is a oak. He's got vanilla and a faint hint of cinnamon on the taste. That's what I contribute to the sweet tobacco core, semi-sweet tobacco core. He says cinnamon. I can get that. He said on the foot there were dried florals. I was able to pick up some florals there. On his cold draw, he's got dried peaches, red pepper. So the dried fruit that I am getting is the dried fruit that I'm getting. I'm not exactly sure what that dried fruit is, but he says it's peaches. Cocoa, I'm definitely getting the cocoa. He says a cocoa butter. I'm just calling it cocoa. Salt, I'm definitely getting some brininess on this cigar. Honey, black and white pepper, bourbon barrel, and vanilla. Also, he says a little bit of sandalwood. Yes, sandalwood. I can see where he's getting sandalwood in this. You know, Brian's got a palate, man, and a lot of these notes that he puts down, guys will look at these notes and go, where the hell is he coming up with this stuff at? But after sitting down with him, I can understand the imagination that he has and why he thinks the way that he thinks. You know, everybody's palate's different. Guys tell me that I have a pretty good palate. I don't know that my palate is pronounced as Brian's, but I mean, those are the notes that he's getting. Who's going to argue with the man? You know what I mean? But so far, so good. So some of those notes in that first third, I am picking up in the first third of this cigar. Cowboy's going to continue to smoke this thing down. I'm going to drink this ginger ale, man. I ain't going to mess around with it. You know, if it doesn't get too powerful for me, we'll find a little bourbon to go with it in a little bit. Good smoking cigar here, folks. Like I say, this is either a 6x46 or 48 ring gauge cigar by Noel Rojas. They call this the Rojas Peruvian Gold. Now the story goes, according to my readings, that Brian sat down with Noel Rojas about this cigar. And this is a cigar that he blended strictly for himself. This is not one that he was going to release to the public. Brian was able to get this cigar into Privada. Great smoking cigar. It also says that Noel Rojas tells the story of tobacco originating in Peru. That's a story that I've heard several times before. We've all been trying to find out, where did the cigar tobacco originate? And we've heard several things, but I've heard the story about Peru more than once. But this is a tasty cigar for me, folks. Right now, as we get down to the second portion of the cigar, that deep pepper spice that I was getting on the back of the throat, more like a cayenne pepper, has dissipated. On the retro, I've got a black and white pepper and a floral going right now on the retro. This cigar has a nice creamy mouthfeel to it. Got some brininess going on with the cigar as well. And I'm gonna say that brininess for me is more of a salted nut. As you can see, the cigar is burning great. I mean, that's almost as perfect as you're gonna get on the burn. Nice burn, nice ash. Still got that semi-sweet tobacco core. Picking up some cocoa and some cinnamon. And what I believe to be black tea. The cigar for me also has a nice little blast of a citrus note there, which is what I mentioned earlier about Peruvian tobacco. I get a nice little citrus note. So let's see what Brian says going into the second third of this cigar for him. If I can find it here. According to Brian from Provider, he says the second third sees notes of confectioner sugar, honey, cinnamon, fried dough. I did write down that I pick up a little bit of breadiness. So maybe that's the fried dough that he's coming up with. Honeysuckle, he says the retro has charred wood and black pepper. I'm getting the woodiness there in the cigar. I'm definitely getting the black pepper. The black pepper is not a heavy black pepper right now. It's a mixture of a black and white for me there on that retro. Very flavorful cigar. Got some decent transitions to it. I'm going to say right now that the cigar has calmed down a little bit. In the beginning, I thought that cigar was getting closer to full, but right now this cigar is smoking medium in strength, medium plus on the body, and medium in flavors. Great blend from the master blender, Noel Rojas. I can see why he was keeping this for his personal stash. The cigar's got a nice shininess to it as well. Great feel in the hand. Nicely packed cigar. Great draw. Just a good cigar, man. From the May pack. Coming out of Provider. I'd like to give a special shout out too to my newest subscribers. Those of you guys that have subscribed to me since the last time I did a review. Welcome. Thank you guys for subscribing and hanging out with Cowboy. Cowboy's gonna continue to try to give you guys some reviews here, man. May have to tone it down just a little bit, man. I may have to join my man Lee Mack on the blackout for a little while. Just kind of disappear for a little bit and come back. Don't want you guys to get tired of me. Don't want you guys to get tired of seeing cigar reviews do the same thing over and over. And when I say do the same thing, I'm not talking about smoking the same cigars. That's not what I'm talking about. We all have to smoke the cigars. I'm talking about the act in which you do it. The way you choose to come off with a review. Don't want it to get boring. We want this thing to be enjoyable for you guys. So, also, I'd like to give a shout out, man. Orlando, Florida, man, to Corona. The Corona Diamond Crown Lounge downtown Orlando. The Corona Cigar Spot out on Sand Lake Road in Orlando. Thank you guys for showing Cowboy great hospitality while I was there, man. I truly enjoyed myself. So Cowboy's gonna smoke this thing down, and I'm gonna come back and give you guys my final thought and my final score. All right, folks. Down to the last portion of the Rojas Peruvian Gold by Noel Rojas from Provider. Like I said, you guys go check out Provider, man. ProviderCigarClub.com. See if you guys can find that thing, man. Cowboy's truly enjoying this cigar. Still got a great smoke profile to the cigar. Nice heavy smoke. Beautiful mouth coating to the cigar. The cigar began to transition pretty good down towards this last portion. Begin to pick up a nice mild earthiness to the cigar. All those other flavors that I mentioned before are still there. Still a nice black and white pepper there on that retro, along with the wood. Semi-sweet tobacco profile, the cocoa, the creaminess, that salted nut. That tad bit of citrus note is still there for me. The black tea leaves are still there for me. I mean, just a great smoking cigar, and I can't be more impressed with the burn on this cigar. Great burn, great construction, no flaws to the cigar on the construction for me at all. And I'm gonna say that this cigar is gonna finish now on the plus side of medium on the strength, medium plus on the body, and medium on the flavors. Really, really nice. And the ginger ale is a great compliment to the cigar. And speaking of that, I was reading Brian, he always puts pairing notes down. And for his pairing notes, he has vanilla custard, bourbon, sweet tea, black tea, cognac, a peaty scotch, ginger ale, and I'm drinking ginger ale, butterscotch, churro, and anything cinnamon, anything vanilla. So that vanilla that he's picking up is what I contributed to what I say is a semi-sweet tobacco profile. I can't quite put my finger on to say that it's vanilla. It could be. It still has a nice cinnamon note to it as well. But hey, Cowboys gonna score this thing, man. And I want to get out of here and let you guys enjoy the rest of your evening, because that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So as I score this cigar on my scale of 1 to 10, we give the construction a 10, we give the burn a 10, I give the flavors an 8, I give the body an 8.5, and we're going to give complexion and transition a 7. So when I tally all that up, that gives the Rojas Peruvian Gold an overall score of 8.7 for tonight, in my opinion. And on my scale of 1 to 10, that makes this an excellent cigar. Great pick by Privada. I've truly enjoyed it. I hope you guys have enjoyed the review. This is Cowboy. I'm going to see you guys down the road. That's my take on it. Peace.